If you have money but haven't found your ideal girlfriend yet, there's this one skill that I believe has the potential to change everything for you, the same way that it did for me, and allow you to find your ideal girlfriend. Now, that skill is cold approach, which is being able to approach any woman, anywhere, anytime that you find attractive. It could be in the street, it could be in a mall, in a grocery store, in a park. Now, when you master the skill, the natural consequence is that you're able to interact with many women that you find attractive, filter, and end up with one that you truly enjoy spending your time with and starting a healthy relationship with her. Now, there's a huge impact that this has in your life, the same way that it has had in dozens of men that I've shared it with over the years. And we're going to cover that in this video. But first of all, I want to talk about the alternatives, because here's the thing: you might be bombarded by advertisement, by dating apps, or people telling you that that's the way to find your ideal girlfriend. Or maybe you think that building a cool Instagram, taking a bunch of pictures in luxurious places and flexing a little bit is the way to do it. Or maybe building a social circle specifically for that goal. Maybe going to Bali and flying in a bunch of models and again, taking cool pictures and putting this facade of a cool guy. Or maybe going to certain events or taking up on hobbies like dancing, salsa, or maybe climbing and indirectly trying to meet somebody in those events. Or maybe you think that you should just focus on yourself. Keep focusing on business, money, keep focusing on your fitness, and the ideal girlfriend, the ideal woman will just appear in your life. Well, here's the thing. All of this is just a shiny object. What this means is that somebody is dangling this in front of you to distract you from the truth. And what is the truth? The truth is that you live in a specific city in the world, and you go out of your house every day, and in the street, in the grocery store, in the mall, anywhere, you come across women that you would like to speak with, that you find attractive. And the best way to find your ideal girlfriend is just to take those opportunities and run with them. So actually take that action and start interacting with those women. It's the most direct way, it's the most natural way. You do not need and you do not have to put on a telephone screen in front of you and that woman. You just go and strike up a conversation with her. And once you master this skill, once you start executing it, the impact that it has in your life is amazing. So you start meeting many women that you find interesting, you start going on dates, you start having amazing experiences. And as I was saying, this allows you to filter and end up with somebody that you really enjoy your time with, that you really see yourself with in the long term. Now, there are 3 points of impact that this had in my life, and also, as I was telling you before, had in the lives of dozens of men that I've shared it with over the years. And the first point is external change. So when you start approaching women, you're going to start to notice that some things change in the way that you communicate. And the first point is body language. Because if I ask you, what is the best way to become better at playing basketball? Well, you would tell me you would have to train playing basketball. You would have to play it again and again, and that is going to allow you to become better. The same with piano, the same with boxing, the same with any other skill. And the same happens with speaking with women. So right now, you have certain skills of communication with women and with people in general. And when you start doing cold approach, you expose yourself to many more interactions. You get many more reps. It's like going to the gym, and cold approach becomes your personal training ground where you can explore your own qualities. And the first point is that body language, because you're going to be interacting with many women. You're going to notice that your voice changes. You're going to notice that your posture changes, your visual contact changes. Everything about you starts evolving for the better, because it's kind of like somebody who has never been to the gym and they start going and they start getting those newbie gains and they feel amazing with themselves after a few months of looking themselves in the mirror because they see big change externally. Well, the same happens with cold approach. You start feeling that you evolve as a man in your body language externally and also in your conversation skills. So, as I was saying, the more reps you get of something, the better you become. It's like some people who do many sales calls. After 100 sales calls, after 500 sales calls, they become very good at building rapport. They become very good at asking questions. They become very good at dealing with any concerns or objections that the prospect might have because they're getting those reps in. Well, the same happens with cold approach. Your conversation skills start going up. You find yourself feeling better emotions, being able to create those good emotions in the interaction of fun, of passion, of excitement, of interest, easily and more effortlessly. And that's the external change that it had in my life, and also that it has the potential to have in your life. Now, the second impact is internal. Because look, I'll tell you that it was super cool to see all these external change in me, to see that I was speaking in a different way, that I was moving in a different way as a man through life. But the best part for me was the internal change, because all those fears that I had, which was, man, how am I gonna break that barrier in my mind and be able to interact with a woman that I do not know? I simply do not know. Well, once I started doing that, guess what? I started getting rid of those fears, or more so of the inaction produced by those fears. So that fear of what other people around might think, or the fear of rejection, receiving some negative response from the woman that she's not interested in talking to you. Well, all of those things, when you start going through them, you understand that it was all in your mind, that, okay, you're going to go through certain rejections, through certain moments that you feel emotions which are not super positive, but that's the normal thing. It's like when you start going to the gym or when you start a new business. You might go through some uncomfortable moments, but that's what allows you to go forward in life, to evolve. And that's going to allow you to develop amazing confidence. Because there's this quote by Bill Gates, I believe, that says confidence comes from competence. And I believe that there's some truth to it. You can start feeling confident even without being confident. You can start feeling confident without being competent, yes. But once you start getting those reps in, you become more and more comfortable, more and more confident in the way that you interact with women. And that's going to show in the dates that you have, in the relationship that you have in the future. The third impact is a feeling of total abundance. Because look, if you live in a decently large town or city, there are thousands and thousands of women who could be a match for you, women who are attractive for you and that you would like to meet. And once you realize that there's pretty much unlimited, limitless options, you start acting like it. Because many guys nowadays that I see act like there's only like 3 women in the whole world and 2 of them are taken. So they have to do anything and everything, conform themselves in every single way to appease to that one woman in their life. And look, I'm not telling you that you become some kind of machine without any kind of emotional attachment for other people. That's a normal thing of being human, yes, but there are men who take it to an extreme where they do not realize that, look, the woman that you see in your social circle or the one that replied to your Instagram DM or the dating app that you're in is not the only woman in the world. So if she has certain qualities that you do not like, you can just try to look for somebody that is more compatible with you. And that is the beauty of cold approach. When you realize the amount of abundance that you have in your life, you again start acting like it. And this gives you amazing freedom. I remember that it was so annoying for me whenever, before doing cold approach seriously, whenever I came across an opportunity in my life with a woman and it didn't work out, it would feel so bad for me because I would feel kind of trapped with that lack of opportunity. Like I couldn't do anything about it. I didn't feel free. And that's because I couldn't create my options on my own without relying on luck, without relying on some party that a friend threw and where I would meet somebody. And I would always be waiting for these events to maybe I meet somebody there. And that would feel a bit like I had some shackles and I had some very, very short glass ceiling. Oh, okay, I can only meet a woman in those places. So in between, I just don't do anything. It's like if you had to rely on total luck to meet your new clients, to acquire clients, and then you would be kind of trapped because you don't have the freedom to conduct your business the way that you want to do it. But if you develop the ability to create limitless options for you, you gain a lot of freedom and you're able to filter. So as I was saying before, if you have one option, two options in your life, or every year you meet two new women, well, maybe they're not the women for you. And maybe you're trying to make something work with somebody that is just not a good fit. And it's bad for you, it's bad for her. But if you're able to have abundance thanks to cold approach, you start filtering much more. So you start thinking, look, there are many women out there who would be an amazing match for me. If the woman that is in front of me on a date is not one of those, is totally fine, is not a problem, I can just continue with my life. And that goes back to the feeling of freedom. So again, the impact that it has in your dating life and also in general in your life is amazing. And I understand that you might be watching this video because you have very clear in your mind that you want to find your ideal girlfriend. And that's an amazing goal. And it's amazing when it happens and amazing when you're in that state. But it's also good to remember that learning cold approach and mastering it has impact far superior than that. And that's already an amazing goal, an amazing thing that you can achieve. So again, going back to the alternatives, I would tell you not to fall into the trap of these shiny objects because you're going to be spinning your wheels. And in some of the videos, I'm going to cover the downfalls of each and every one of these. But for now, I just wanted to talk about the impact that this had in my life, how it changed my life, and how it has the potential to change your life if you start going through this process. So again, if you're a 7 to 8 figure entrepreneur and you want to find your ideal girlfriend in person without relying on dating apps or social media, then you can find somewhere to contact me in the description in this video. Looking forward to speaking with you, and I'll see you in the next video.